the whole idea of like glorifying having to work like a slave and being like, yes, massa, yes, massa. Oh, yes, I'll do this. Oh, yeah, I'll do this. Like playing a good girl. And then as long as you play the good girl and you confine and conform to what society tells you to do, then you'll get a good man. God forbid. God forbid. So I definitely want to get into this topic because it has been on my spirit. And I told you guys when I have something that is on my spirit, I definitely have to share with you guys and like vent a little bit, especially because when things come up for me, I'm somebody that I get introspective and I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to go in my own room. I need to I need to process what is coming up for me. And the main thing that has came up for me, especially now at this in this season, is I'm not no damn Cinderella. Let me say that shit again. I am not no damn Cinderella. Okay, I'm not. And that is the title of this video simply because I'm fed up. I'm sick and tired. Like I'm not the whole narrative and even us glorifying that movie. And yes, I'm a Disney Channel lover. I love the Disney movies. I love the princesses. Don't get me wrong. But the whole idea of like glorifying having to work like a slave and being like, yes, massa, yes, massa. Oh, yes, I'll do this. Oh, yeah, I'll do this. Like playing a good girl. And then as long as you play the good girl and you confine and conform to what society tells you to do, then you'll get a good man. God forbid. God forbid. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like the whole narrative of I have to be the good girl in order to get the good husband, in order to get the husband that got the money, that's a prince, that's the Prince Charming, he finna come save me. First and foremost, I'm not no damn Cinderella. I'm not a slave. And this came up, and I say this because even in our culture, because if y'all don't know, I am Nigerian, but I just feel like the culture as a whole in different cultures, we can go to Indian, Hispanic, Latinx community, like all the cultures, like that is the whole that is it's the same narrative. Like they're all intertwined with one another in the fact of like we have to work like a slave and people please our way into success. And I'm just like, that narrative is dead and gone. Like it is unalived and gone. Like I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And this really triggered me simply because like I had like it was something came up is with my mom and I was like she had demanded me to do something and it's like part of me like and that's it's something like this has always came up like when it comes to like authority figures, especially when I work jobs. Like I don't like people telling me what to do. I am somebody, it's not in a sense of like I can't follow the rules. Yes, I can follow a rule. You give me a game plan, you give me what the structure is, and I can abide by it. I can follow it to my best ability. Okay, I always leave room for a little flow. I leave room for a little, you got to take a little risk. I leave room for that. But for the most part, I am somebody that is reliable. I am somebody, I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I do it with my chest and I do it well. But when somebody demands something from me, that is where you lose me. Because what? Huh? Huh? And here's the thing, I'm not saying to disrespect your elders and disrespect your parents or anything like that, your aunts and your uncles. I'm not saying that. But the narrative that I was brought into this world to be a slave to my parents, to the people that brought me in here, I don't conform to that. I do not conform to that. Like it really triggered me. Like it hit something in me because it's like if you want something, you can ask for it. Like I don't ever put anybody on a pedestal, and that is just what it is. I don't care if you brought me into this world. You decided to have playtime with the person you chose to have playtime, and you brought me in here. Okay, you was praying to God to bring me into this world. So now that I'm here, don't think that I'm supposed to live my life according to anybody else's standards. Like, I'm no. Now that I'm in this world, I choose to live on my own terms. I choose to live like at a certain point, at a certain age, we get to choose how we decide to make our life and our dreams possible. Now, for the people that weren't able to make their dreams a reality, that doesn't give them the permission to project their own insecurities and their own shortcomings on us in order for them to live vicariously through us so we can please them. And so when they leave this world, they are satisfied that we listen to them. Absolutely not. It's just like that is just something where I'm just like, I'm just not doing it. I am not doing it. Like, I don't care who is hurt by it. Like, when it comes to setting boundaries, you can tell a lot of people, especially by people's reaction for how you set your boundaries. If they act in a certain way and they react negatively by your boundaries being set, then they were taking advantage of you being a people pleaser, you being a good girl this whole time. And now that it doesn't benefit them, that you have a backbone, then you'll be able to see the manipulation from past times where you decided to people please just so there wouldn't be any conflict. Let me play the good girl so like I can keep the peace. And I'm saying this and I'm speaking like this because I'm talking to myself. I have lived this. I have lived this up to the point of where I cared too fucking much. And I gotta curse because sometimes you gotta cuss to feel the extremes of things. But I cared too much. And then I was the one that was burnt out. I was the one that had the burnt end of the stick. And the other person is just flourishing like, oh, I'm good. I'm at peace. And I'm like, bitch, I'm depressed. How is that working out? Like, what is going on? But I'm depressed because I was giving and overgiving and overgiving and overgiving, trying to please somebody that was incapable of giving me what I need. Like, there's certain necessities that I need in order to flourish. I need fun. I need to explore. I need laughter. I need emotional depth. Like, I need people who actually care, you know? So when that is lacking and I have to give that to myself, I don't have problem giving it to myself. Matter of fact, I love giving it to myself. But the whole idea of me having to pour into my own cup just for me to go outside into the world, for somebody just to take it without them having to do the work themselves. Like, I've been doing the work this whole fucking time. And now I'm doing all this work, working blood, sweat, and tears to make sure I'm healing my childhood trauma and healing all the trigger wounds that come up. And then I go outside and somebody who just don't care and just like, I don't give a F. Like, I'ma still do what I do. Don't care in the world. And I'm giving all of that energy to this person. Baby, that's a no. That's a no. Like, we not doing that no more. Like, if you still doing that, you watch this video, I hope this give you the courage to stop doing it. Because it doesn't benefit anybody. Even us giving energy to these people, it still doesn't benefit them. Because you know what it is? It's like somebody who's addicted to whatever kind of drug. They'll get that small little hit of dopamine, but then it will only last so far. Like, it would not last that long. They coming back looking for more. And that's what we get into, like energy vampires and stuff like that. But the thing is, I'm not even making this video for us to feel like we are the victims. We are not the victims. Like, I just heard this the other day and somebody's like, we're not the victims. We are the volunteer. We volunteer for that role. We volunteer for the role of playing Cinderella. Just think about it. Just think about it, because nobody said you have to play this role. Nobody said that. But when we watched all these movies about them showcasing the princesses that are in distress and need a man to come save them, then it conditions our mind that we have to play this role. We got to go by the Bible. Oh, we got to follow these rules. We got to, no shade to the Bible readers. Like I said, no shade. The spirituality is in all aspects. Okay. I bring it all in one. I'm just trying to paint a perspective before you click off the video, because one thing about it, my faith is very strong. But one thing I know along my journey is that I don't put God in a box. And that's why me saying what I'm saying, it's going to trigger some people. It's going to rub people the wrong way. But I know, like, I be knowing the assignment God be calling me to. okay, in order to expand people's perspective of God, you know? But like I said, putting God in a box, like, oh, I have to be this person that's in the Bible in order to get the success, like in order to be fulfilled, you know? And it's not that. God wants us to be ourselves authentically, you know? That's what God wants us to be. Like the whole narrative of us having to play these roles and identify with the good girl, the person that is just going to be submissive, even if they don't have their needs met. That is an old paradigm. Like we've had to do this in order to survive. That is survival tactics, you know? So now us stepping into the forefront, let me sit up. Us stepping into the forefront and actually having the audacity to be ourselves unabashedly, not having a care in the world, that is what's going to trigger a lot of people because they haven't seen that in themselves. And that's why I'm saying it's like, I'm done being afraid of showing up as my full authentic self because I've seen the contrast. I've seen people who aren't their authentic selves, and as soon as that mask come off, it's like depression and anxiety hit. It's like, oh man, I just played this role. Like I'm tired. Like now I can be my grumpy self. I can be miserable. Like I don't want that for my life. Like if I am fully in joy and in love with my life, there's no need for it to be a time where I'm miserable and I'm like, okay, now I can actually express how I feel. Absolutely not. I'm going to continue expressing how I feel in my authenticity. Like absolutely not. So that's why I said, like, I'm not no damn Cinderella. I am not. I am not. And that's why I said, like, even with the guys that, you know, they want somebody who is just coy and who plays humble and all these things. I've played that role and I've had no success with guys playing that role, being a people pleaser, being all that they need, giving them, over giving, showing up for them. I've played that role and it has brought me zero success because you know why? That role wasn't authentic to me. I am a goddess. I am a queen. Okay? I am supposed to be courted. I am supposed to be earned. Like I do not care. And it's not even like on no ego stuff. It's like let's remember how valuable we are. Let's remember that. Aside from the money, aside from all of these things, like we are women. And if a guy is watching this, it's like you can send this to your lady, you know, so she can hear the message. But also I'm talking to the men as well, especially the kings that actually honor the women's needs, like honors the queen's needs. Like I'm talking to you guys, to that the guys that actually see the value in women. We are co-creators with the divine. Like the womb is literally a portal for us to bring creation, divine creation. Like, and you know, you're gonna have people that's gonna say, oh, it takes two people to, baby, I'm not finna talk to ignorance. I'm not. Okay? I'm not finna do it. Because I'm not downplaying the role of the masculine of the men in the world. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying time and time again, generations and generations and generations, where women have forgotten their power. Women have played the role of playing coy and just sitting back and not having the audacity to take control of their lives. But if you see the people who have the audacity, especially in these TV shows, like not even in the TV shows, in real life, and they actually create the life that they desire, those are the women that have a lot of the evil eye and a lot of the haters, simply because the people that are miserable with their own lives, that have 10 freaking kids, that are miserable, thinking that somebody told them to play that role, they see the lack in other people who are abundant and who choose to show up authentically. You know, they see that lack. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I came out the womb. Like, I came straight out the womb. Like, what's up? Like, I was straight fire. I was straight fire. I was like, all right, yeah. I said what I said, and I said it with my chest. There was no filter. Whatever I wanted, I got it. Like, it was that. But then, I had to learn about the ego. And when that happens, especially in the spiritual journey, because this is all a spiritual journey, but when that happened, it made me be like, oh, like my past versions of myself showing up that way was wrong. And so it was like shame came, and then guilt came about like how I was treating people, based off of how I was treated, because I was bullied, growing up. And so I'm not to say that I was bullying other people. No, I became the person that wanted to save the people that were getting bullied. I was the person that was just like, oh, like I remember what I went through. And even if people talk they ish about me, I just take it on. But if I saw somebody that was in dire need, and I saw somebody that was getting talked about, and I saw somebody that was like, that wasn't able to stand up for themselves, oh baby, I was there. It was like warrior in me. Like, I was like, what's up? But now as I look back, I'm like, I became the version of me that I needed as a child. I became that version of me. But now in this season, I'm like, I'm really pouring into myself, and I'm really loving on myself, and I'm loving all the previous versions of myself as well. And I'm reaffirming to my inner child that I'm going to be there for her. I am going to be there for her through thick and thin. Like, it doesn't matter. We're not waiting on anybody to come save us, because nobody is going to save us. We are not victims. So it's retraining my inner child and saying like, sis, I got you. What's up? Like, we're going to talk. We're going to talk our ish. We're going to stand up in our power. We're not going to play small. We're not going to be a Cinderella. We're not a slave. Okay, we're not, yes, massa, we ain't doing that. We're not doing that no more. We're not. Because if we want great things and we want all of these things for our lives, then we have to be honest with ourselves and saying that we volunteered for the roles, we volunteered for the roles that we're playing, And sometimes it's kind of hard to hear, because one thing about me, I talk the truth. And when I speak, like it just flows. There's no outline. There's no nothing. The truth just comes out and it's spewed. And it's like, oh shit, like you ain't lying, girl. So if this is a little bit hard for y'all to hear, trust and believe I understand, because when I watch this back, I'm be like, damn, sis, like you went off the top. Like you brought the heat. It's necessary, because how many times, and that's why I said the Lulu is a Salulu until it's not. Because my last video, I was saying Delulu is a Salulu, and it's necessary to have a healthy sense of delusion. But if your Delulu is plain, it's in the sense of you're the victim and everything you've done has been great and everybody else is the problem, that is where it doesn't benefit you anymore. The role of victim, the victim mentality, it's not working anymore, sis. Or sir, whoever's watching, it's not working anymore. The victim mentality is not working. The role of the good girl is not working anymore. Like, we need to change the script. You need to take the pen and rewrite it. Let's rewrite another story. Let's start with chapter 1, because it's not working anymore. And I say this because there's a reason why a lot of these triggers are coming up, because previous seasons, especially previous versions of me, I wouldn't stand up and I wouldn't advocate for my needs. I wouldn't advocate for what I needed in a friendship, in a relationship, and whatever. Like, I wouldn't speak. And now, when it's been built up for so many years and so long, now when somebody triggers me, it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean go get this for you? Like, you can ask me as an adult and be like, hey, can you go get me this? Like, you can ask. Like I said, I don't put anybody on a pedestal. I see us as equals. We're all beings. We're all human beings. Don't put anybody on a fucking pedestal. Okay? Matter of fact, put yourself on a pedestal. And this is not to say to look down on anybody else. No. Because if you do that, then you're still in lack, honey. But this is to put yourself on a pedestal to know that you are valuable. You do add value. And it doesn't matter if anybody doesn't tell you that. It doesn't matter if you don't get the external validation from likes and follows. You are valuable. It's up to you to affirm that to your inner self, to your inner child, to the previous versions of yourself, that you are valuable. Because if you don't do that for yourself, who's going to do it? Nobody else is. And you can't expect that from other people either. Because then it goes back to the victim mentality of expecting other people to come save you, of expecting other people to show up for you. How can you expect somebody else to show up for you if you don't show up for yourself? We can't be mad at the roles that we play, especially if it continues to perpetuate the lack mentality, the low self-worth. We can't be mad. But now that we know this and we're aware of it, okay, now what? Because I'm somebody that's like, okay, I'm aware of this. Now, how do I move forward? Okay, how do I switch it up a little bit? Like, I'm like, all right, ooh, this kind of hard. Like, ooh, I've been playing a victim. I've been playing like, people pleasing. I've been doing all the things. But now how do I show up? Okay, it's a new day. I'm going to actually ask what I need. I'm going to ask for what I need. Let me actually do that. Let's try this. And this can be like little stepping stones of like, okay, now one day you actually ask for what you needed. Hey, you might get a no, but you might get a yes. And I used to work in sales, so we call it the LOAs. Okay, it's the LOAs. This is not to say that as soon as you start setting boundaries, everything is just going to change. And it's going to like magically just, the universe is just going to magically show up for you. No, it takes practice. Once again, as you continue to show up for yourself and advocate for your needs and actually speak up about the things that you are lacking in a relationship and a friendship, then the universe will start to know this current version of you and be able to show up to provide you the friendships that actually give you fulfillment, provide you for that job that actually gives you fulfillment, provide you with all of these things that actually fulfills your soul. But if you're constantly playing the role of Cinderella, of Ariel, and granted, I love me some Ariel, don't get me wrong. That's one of my favorite, okay? I ain't gonna lie. But it really, if you look back at it, it's like, why did I love Ariel so much? Her throat chakra was gone. She traded her throat chakra in order to get on land. She couldn't speak up about what she needed. Somebody had to guess. And the guy that she ended up with don't really know her for real. Like, I love me some Ariel. Don't get me wrong. I'm a mermaid. So I was just like, oh, part of that world. Like, girl, listen, I love me some Ariel. But I have to be honest. Like, I have to be honest. He didn't try. Like, yes, he took her out on dates trying to get to know her. But it was like, he didn't get to know her soul. How can he get to know her soul if there's no words? If there's no if there's no depth. If it's just surface level and I'm like, oh, you look beautiful. Like, oh my goodness, I want to get to know you. Like, if it's just that, then there's just a no. Like, all these princesses in distress, the guys was captivated by their beauty, their looks. They didn't care about all the other stuff. They didn't care about if she had a brain, if she knew what she was talking about. They didn't care about any of those things. But I'm not that girl. Like, I know I'm a bad bee. I know I look good. But aside from looking good, I also have a brain. I have depth. I have emotional depth. I have intellectual abilities as well. Like, I'm not just a dumb bitch. And I have to say it. I'm just not. So when I say, and I'm not to call these princesses a dumb bee, because Princess Tiana, baby, she was resourceful. One thing about it. But she was in her masculine. Because of what? Survival. So that's why I said we played all these roles in order to survive. And I am just not doing that anymore. I'm not conforming to the narrative that I have to survive. I choose to thrive. I am choosing to thrive. I don't care who it bothers. I don't care if, people, I'm rubbing other people the wrong way. Because if I'm rubbing other people the wrong way, it's it's a lesson for me to just be okay being the villain. Because there's a reason why God asked me to play this role anyways in this person's life. Because if they continue that pattern and that cycle of demanding other people to do what they need to do and always get in their way, oh, baby, I'm going to be the catalyst. Because I'm going to show up and I'm going to be like, no. And now that person will be triggered. And then that person will be able to get and start their healing journey if they so choose. But if they continue playing the victim, then it's going to continue. It's going to continue going on and on and on again. But one thing about me, when God calls me into certain spaces and places, one thing about it, that no, you're going to feel that in your chest and you're not going to know what to do. Because let me be the first person to tell you no. Baby, you're going to be ruminating about me. Ain't going to ever be able to get over it if you don't choose to go in and do the inner work. And that's why I said, like, I'm so proud of myself for continuously choosing to do the inner work, continuously seeing all different sides and perspective. And sometimes we have to be objective. We have to look outside. We have to like detach from our emotions for a little bit and not like, oh, he did this to me. She did this to me. Like, no, what is this lesson teaching me? What is God calling me to look at this situation? Have I continuously played this role of overgiving in order to manipulate a person to liking me, to loving me? And the answer is yes. I got to be honest. I have to be honest and I have to be vulnerable. But if I'm not honest with myself, then guess what? I'm going to further attract people who lie to me in my face and smile and just lie because I'm doing that to myself. But I have to be that parent, like I said, reparenting ourselves, our inner child. I have to be that parent. I'm not just going to be the parent that's going to be like, oh, you get anything you want, baby. It's okay. It's balance. Like, yes, I'm going to give her what you want some chocolate today? Okay, we'll do a little one too. But I'm also hold her accountable. I'm like, all right, now you ain't finna be eating chocolate for the whole week now. All right. Like, I care about you. I care about your health. I care about your well-being, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all of those things, so it's that balance that is necessary. But that's why, like, I really had to make this video because that has really came up for me. Because I have started setting those boundaries and I'm like, oh, you finna get to know this current version of Petra. You're not going to get comfortable with the Petra that has been easily digestible in the past because she's not here anymore. Okay? Christina's not here. Like, okay. She is not here anymore, baby. She is gone. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you needed to hear this message as well. And maybe I needed to further tell you not to play small, not to play the role of Cinderella and all of these princesses that's in distress. Girl, play that Cheetah Girl song, Cinderella. I don't want to be like Cinderella, sitting in the dark, cold, just cellar, waiting for somebody to come and set me free. Girl, like, they knew what they was talking about. They knew what they was talking about. Girl, because I'm finna watch that right now, girl. Because, like, let's be for real. Let's be for real, y'all. It's not working no more. If we want our manifestations, stand up. Go get it. Have the audacity to go get that shit. For real. Because if you don't get it, somebody else will. And yes, we can say, what God has for us, nobody can get. But you got to meet God halfway. If you don't ever show up, it's just going to be right there. And I want what God has for me. If I want it, let me go ahead and meet God halfway. And that's what it leads to, the balance of divine feminine and divine masculine. Because like I said, this is for the masculines too. Like, masculine energy, this is not to say it's all divine feminine. No. There needs to be the balance, the yin and the yang. The divine feminine knows when it needs to Let me take a step back. Let me allow things to, flow and allow me to attract and magnetize. But divine masculine knows when to take action. It's aligned action. It knows when to go out there and put themselves out there. It knows when to take those action, especially when God is asking for divine masculine energy to step up, right? So it's necessary. It is so necessary. So it's the balance of both of those energies. But if you're still too in, I would say, wounded divine feminine energy, if you're in wounded divine feminine energy, then you're going to sit back and you're going to be hopeless and helpless, waiting for somebody to come save you. And nobody is coming to come save you. I'm here to tell you that because I had to tell myself that. I said, oh, you know what? And masculine was activated, baby. I said, oh, okay, let me get my ass up. Yeah, I had to be honest with myself. Because if we're not honest with ourselves, then nobody will be honest with us. So I really hope that this bright, and I just saw 333. That is my number. Okay. I love that number. But yeah, so that's why I said, like, I know spirit is allowing me to take these inspired and aligned actions in order to show up and talk to you guys and really just speak on like what I'm seeing in my world. And maybe it clicks, it unlocks something in your mind or whatever. And you're ready to step up and step out, like having no care. Okay, but this is all I have for you guys. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to anybody who you feel needs to hear this message. It might be a little hard, sit them down, make sure they had a good meal first and they had their little tea before you start, because this is kind of hard. Okay. All right, give it some time to process a little bit. But yeah, like I said, but please definitely don't forget to join the Star family. We love you guys over here. This is authenticity. Okay, we are all authentic, and any kind of authentic expression, we welcome it here. Okay, but once again, y'all stay flowing, glowing, and growing. Peace.